Hello and welcome fans and friends, my name is Super 8-Bit Ben, and today I have a very cool controller to show to you guys because, well, I'll explain to you in a moment why I've been looking for this sort of layout, but I finally found a PlayStation 2 controller that has the layout of a GameCube / Xbox original controller. The PS2 always had the weird layout where it would use two sticks on the bottom, D-pad on the left and the buttons on the right, and the controller itself is very small, but it's a very good controller if you don't mind that layout. I actually don't prefer that layout despite it helping me in certain games. Not everyone likes it, so eventually I came across this controller after many years of searching, and then I gave up, and then I was looking for something else. I was looking for the PlayStation dual analog controller, and I came across this thing. It's made by a company called FujiWork Co. Limited. Analog Rensei pad. I'll put the text somewhere around here so you know how to spell that. This controller is amazing. It is basically everything I was looking for in a PlayStation 2 controller after all these years. Has traditional layout of having a stick here and having a stick there, and it has the cutest little D-pad. I mean, look at that, it's adorable. It kind of reminds me a lot of the GameCube D-pad, but it's a very good D-pad. From what I've used of it, I played a bit of Ratchet Gladiator, and the D-pad is very decent. There's not many games that really require it, but it's there and it's cool. You may have noticed that the controller itself is very big and chunky looking, so you may be wondering, how does it feel? Well, on the back here we have these little curves in the controller where your fingers kind of lie into, and it's very comfortable with the way they actually did it. The top here we have the shoulder buttons, which are much flatter than the official controller, but I actually prefer that. It has all the menu buttons in the same style as the official controller, and you can kind of notice that it has some gold writing, as well as having the company logo on the front, which is the FujiWork logo. This was a bit strange because I came across it on eBay while looking for something else, and for many years before that I was actually looking for a controller like this ever since I was watching classic game room videos, and I was thinking, why haven't they not made a PlayStation 2 controller with an Xbox layout or a GameCube layout, as I would prefer to call it. I was looking for the dual analog PlayStation 1 controller, which is a very rare variant of the PlayStation 1 controller with longer handles and concave sticks, basically. I'll have to show you a picture of it. It's weird, and not many people actually know about it other than PlayStation collectors and game enthusiasts such as myself. I noticed that the cable on this here is much longer, like it's longer my wingspan, where the original controller is shorter. You can see the TV in the background there. It actually goes all the way over to here where I sit, and that is quite a bit of distance. It may not look like it from here because of the camera angle, but it's a lot of distance, and this goes a very good length and is very comfortable length so that I can actually sit back, relax. Like, I really can't complain about this thing. I have no idea why it never came overseas from Japan. Like, it was only made in Japan, only came out in Japan. Right, so on my right we have the official Sony PlayStation 2 controller, and on the left we have the FujiWork Sin PlayStation 2 controller, whatever you call it, and you could kind of notice that this one is a bit bigger. The red one's a bit bigger and this one's a bit smaller. The handles are much smaller, and overall the controller itself is smaller. I believe probably because it was designed more for Japanese players, which don't know whether or not I should mention this, but from what I've heard they have smaller hands. I don't know if that's actually true. I think this would have been more well designed for smaller hands, and this here is more well designed for older gamers like myself and beyond. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sony's PlayStation 2 controller is one of the best controllers ever made, but this is a sort of big improvement upon that. And like, one problem I have with the red one, the sticks have a very similar rubber cap to them, but I noticed that my thumbs get a bit sweaty on the thumb caps, and they get a little bit hard to dry sometimes, and it's just about keeping your thumbs non-moist, which can be quite hard. And for someone who has quite sweaty hands sometimes while playing games, not everyone suffers from that. It can be a little bit of a problem. But I mean, other than that, this controller is really good. It has the standard menu buttons around here. It has some gold writing. You can see here it has the FujiWork logo in gold. I can show you the back of it here. It's got a bit of a curve to it in the back, and you have these little things that you put your fingers into while playing, and it's actually very comfortable for someone of my hand size. And you look at my hand size beside my face, it's actually pretty big, and I'm just, you know, an average size person. I'm not super tall, but like, it's a big difference between the official Sony controller that, you know, I've already shown you. It's very big, it's a little bit bulkier, there's a bit more to it, and the build quality is amazing on this thing. And I'll give you one more look around this here so that you get a good view of how it looks from all angles. So, then I'll show you the back of the controller where they show the name. So that's it there. Hopefully it focuses properly. So yeah, interesting controller. One of a kind for the PlayStation 2, but if you see one of these online and you've been looking for something like this, I totally recommend that you get this straight away, because I can see this thing getting even rarer than it already is. The PlayStation 2 itself is probably more than 15 years old, so as the years go by, these things get more and more rare. I have no idea when this came out, I can't find any information on it. FujiWork seems to be kind of not so well known third-party peripheral creator, if you know what I mean. But yeah, guys, this been another episode of the Controller Connoisseur. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys haven't checked out my earlier stuff, you should totally check it out. I do all sorts of different types of videos on, you know, different game topics and stuff like that. And at the moment, I'm actually taking a break this month, but I'm still working on stuff in the background, so I'm not really taking that much of a break. It just means I'm not going to be uploading as much as I used to. I'm actually working at the same time, so it's a lot of stress to try to do this and work at the same time. But guys, you are awesome. We're up to 155 subscribers, which is great. I've barely released any videos recently, and I'm still getting subscribers, which is crazy. Because for the longest time, I had been uploading constantly, and there's been no one new coming to the channel. And then all of a sudden, now it's starting to blow up, and that's great to see. And as always, guys, if you haven't come across this channel before, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But only do that if you want to.